And we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris. This is my channel. We love comics. And I was just going to look outside my door to view this beautiful day. It is currently 79 degrees here in beautiful sunny Florida. And I happened to see out the window that there was some packages. And didn't even know that this was arriving today. But I got 4 of my PGX books back. As usual, I do not know the grades. I do not want to know until I do these live shows so we can experience it together. I think no, the next one. I don't believe it's the one where you guys voted. I think it's the one right before that. But speaking of voting, make sure you cast your vote. There are 3 that are definitely in the lead. 2 of them are kind of tied. They're between 1 and like 1% off. So if you haven't voted, go cast your vote. Just go to the community section and cast your vote with that and have your voice heard. So let me put on the video camera. So I got 4 books from PGX here. Now, obviously, you can use whatever grading company you want, but if you choose to use PGX and go to the description of my video, you will see that if you send in 10 or more books to PGX and use the code WeLoveComics free press, you will get one of them pressed for free. So that is always a good way to save some money. That's like roughly about a $20 value. And also, thanks to them listening, and a shout out to Daniel Patterson, which he told me a couple of days ago there's some interesting plans that are coming out with PGX. And he'll tell me when it's something that can go public, so I will share that as soon as I get the information. But if you want, you can add grader's notes to your books. It's a $5 charge, but if you use the code We Love Comics Grader's Notes, you are able to add the grader's notes to the back of the slabs if you are so inclined to do so. To me, it makes the graders a little bit more accountable because you're not guessing what's wrong or assuming what's wrong. It's right there on the slab. And I like that. Now, that's obviously not everybody's cup of tea. Alright, so we got 4 books. They were nice enough, as usual, to put in the inserts. Alright, so what we do is I tell you what the book is, what the significance is, what I paid for it, which, of course, I always include shipping and handling costs, what I predicted the grades would be, and then we reveal them. Now, obviously, keep in mind I am not a professional grader, so I'm usually fairly spot on, but every now and then I'll be off. That doesn't mean that, oh my god, the grade was out of whack. It just means that, you know, I'm not the professional one doing this for a living. So we'll see how close or how far I get. So join the live chat, even if you are not a subscriber, because if I, at the end of the video, pick you, and I always pick at least 1, if not 2 people to join the subscriber chat, if you are picked, you will be able to post your link to either your YouTube page if you have videos or a channel, your social network if you prefer to do Instagram, Facebook, or anything like that, or if you'd rather promote something you sell on eBay, I can do that as well. Just keep in mind I do have to verify the links first to make sure that there is nothing inappropriate. Alright, so these get pressed and dry cleaned. I do not get paid by PGX. I do get them graded and pressed for free. But there is no contract, so I'm under no obligation to say anything other than what my experience is with the company. So keep that in mind. Mine is very unbiased, despite what a few people might claim. Because I don't have any contracts signed, I do this because I like it, not because I have to. Alright, so the first book we have. Alright, so we're starting off with one of the big books. This is New Mutants 98. This was signed, without looking at the grade, signed by Chris Claremont, Rob McLeod, and Fabian. I'm not sure how I pronounce his name, so I'm just going to say Fabian. Now, the person I bought this from said this is a 9.8. Now, of course, no one on eBay should be 100% trusted, and it doesn't mean just because they say that means that is correct, but we'll find out. So I said it's about a 9.6 to a 9.8 with white pages. I paid a grand total of $365 for this book, so even if it's a 9.4, I'd still be happy with it. But obviously, you always want the higher grade, so let's find out what it is and how accurate the eBay seller was. Alright, so the eBay seller was definitely off, and so was I. So it is a 9.2 with white pages, but I'm still happy with that. I mean, to get a triple signed book, New Mutants 98, because we know Deadpool is going to be in the MCU, so even if the prices currently are not where you want them to be, or they might be going down or staying stagnant, soon as they make official movie announcements and you start seeing, you know, teaser trailers and movies actually coming out, you know, fingers crossed they happen within the next decade, these books are going to keep going up, so I'm not worried about that. 9.2. So the eBay seller was definitely off saying it was a 9.8, but at least I did not pay 9.8 prices. So, as you can also see, and this is why I do this live, there's no editing, I'm not switching out books, I'm not doing anything other than showing it to you, and you could see, oh, Chris isn't getting favoritism, I'm not getting 9.8s for everything. As a matter of fact, it seems like it's harder for me to get 9.8s. But, I mean, as long as the grades are accurate and they're what the book should be, I'm happy with that. So, 9.2, it is what it is, and I'm very happy. Alright, so next up, we have, this is another one I'm going to be happy with regardless of the grade. This is one of my many Hulk 180s, which is the first appearance of Wolverine in a cameo. Just keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, without Hulk 180, there would be no 181. Obviously, 181 is the most popular, but this book, to me, is one of the sleeper picks of the Bronze Age, because we know what's going to happen once Wolverine is officially into the MCU. Eventually, Hulk 181 is going to get way out of reach. I'm already starting to see that on eBay, where somebody paid for what looks like, it was taped all over the cover, it was ripped and bent and creased and looked like maybe a 1.0 to a 1.5 at best, and it's sold for over $1,000. So those books are getting way out of hand, and that's ungraded, not even graded. So this is the book to get. Make sure, if you have a raw copy, make sure you find out that it has the Marvel stamp. Now, anytime I get this book, I open it live, so you could see the Marvel stamp, so you could check that out, or if you go into my playlist under tips and advice, you'll see the video about the Marvel value stamps. I had a person the other day saying they were collecting comics for 30 years, never knew about Marvel value stamps. So I never assume that people know about stuff or maybe can learn something, and that's a beautiful thing about the interweb. Alright, so I paid a grand total of $249.99 for this book. So this could come back as 0.5 and I'll still be happy, but it definitely will not, but we will see. I predicted about a 5.5 to a 6.5 with off-white to white pages. So let's see what we got. Even better. 6.5. Well, actually, I said 5.5 to 6.5, so I'm actually in the range of what I said. So that book, when I saw this book, and this was in a package deal with another comic, I think it also came with 181. No, I wish it was 181. 182. I have two deals that I had recently, so I'm very happy with this. And this is why you want to get your books pressed and dry cleaned, because a lot of the damage that was on here was pressable. That's the beautiful thing about sometimes buying raw books or even older graded books where somebody didn't get them pressed. It could really increase the grades. So when I make my predictions, I base it, you know, on the assumption of what the pressing and dry cleaning will do to it. So 9.2 with the New Mutants 98, yeah, I could live with. I'm not exactly jumping up and down, but I'm still happy. I'm definitely very happy with this one. So trust me when I say, if you can get your hands on a Hulk 180, you're going to be very happy soon, because you think those books are quiet now. I mean, think about, like, for example, Ultimate Fallout 4. I was telling people since 2016 to buy the first print back when they were $10 to $12 a piece. Hardly anybody touched them. And for years, it stayed relatively around the $30 to $40 mark. Now, good luck trying to get a raw copy for under $400. So once the floodgates open, you can't do anything. So if you think, well, you know, I have time, you have limited time. So if you can get them, get them. All right, so we have two more books. Next up, all right, we got one of my Amazing Spider-Man 300s. This is the newsstand variant. Now, I knew this wasn't mega high grade when I bought it, but again, for the price I paid, it doesn't really matter. I'm happy regardless, and newsstands always bring premiums unless somebody just doesn't know the difference. And I do have a video, again, on my playlist talking about the newsstand variants. Always keep in mind that just because something's a newsstand does not mean it is rare, especially when you're talking the mid to late Bronze Age, because remember, there were less comic book stores back then. But for modern books like this and up, there are less chances of getting a really high grade newsstand. So those are the ones that are more popular. But of course, do your research, because there are always exceptions to every rule. So I paid a grand total of $155 for this book, so it could come back a 5.0, and I will still be happy. But I predicted about an 8.5 to a 9.2 with, what did I say, with white pages. So let's see what we got. There we go, so pretty much right in the middle. So a 9.0 for, and one of the things I like is PGX actually mentions on the cover that it is a newsstand edition. So I like that they do that, but I'm very happy. And with white pages, so for once I was actually correct when it comes to, I can't say older books, but at this point this book is decades old, so it is still considered an older book, even though I bought 2 of these the day they came out. One of them I went and got signed by Todd McFarlane, which I think I will be cracking open, because that was before I knew about pressings and dry cleanings ever existed. So I could bump that up by resubmitting it to PGX, and they do the signature verifications in-house. So a 9.0 for $155, to me, that is a win. So far, all 3 are wins, even though, you know, like I said, everybody wants a 9.8. But I'm not one of those people that if I don't get a 9.8, I act like somebody just ran over my firstborn. To me, they're comics. It's all about the fun. And if you have a book that's worth more than what you paid for it, regardless of the grade, you still made out. So I'm happy with that. All right, so last but not least, and I don't have these in any particular order. I just go based on how they listed them. This book, let me see if I still have it. Give me a second. Okay. This book was originally, I sent this in to be graded back in 2016. This is Batman Adventures 12 at a 9.4. Now, this was back, like I just said before, this was back before I knew anything about pressings and dry cleanings. So I sent this book raw to CGC, and it came back a 9.4. When I started hearing about the pressings and dry cleanings and things like that, I finally decided to check some of my books, and this book had damage, but it was pressable. So you can dramatically increase the grade by getting books pressed and by looking at them. And a lot of times you kind of have to look at them on an angle and put them in towards the light. And I saw there was a pressable defect that could potentially, and I say potentially, bring this to a 9.6 or 9.8. So regardless of the grade, I bought this book with eBay bucks back in 2016, I believe. I paid a grand total of $45 for this book. So even if it comes back a 9.4 like it was, I'm still making out with this, so I don't care. But this should be an example of what happens and why you should get your books pressed and dry cleaned. But make sure you look at the book, because if its color break increases, you can't do anything. All right, so this is the last book of the 4. And I want to thank the 12 people out of the 22 that have hit the like button. I really appreciate that. So if you're kind enough to do that, please do. Check out the description of my video if you're interested in the code for PGX or other discount codes that I offer that I don't mention. And the last one is... All right, so there we go. I'm happy with that. It wasn't a 9.8. It's a 9.6, which is an upgrade from a 9.4. And the pressing definitely helped. Let me see, because I know it was the back corner. That was this side. Yeah, So they straightened it out. So this corner was a little bit wrinkly, and the only reason it got a 9.6 is right there. You might not be able to see it. There is a color breaking chip right on the top. That's the only problem with this book. So 9.6 for Batman Adventures 12 with, of course, white pages. Paid a grand total of $45 for this book because I bought it a while ago. So it went from a 9.4 to a 9.6. Very happy with that. So those are the 4 books. Overall, incredibly happy how these turned out. So we got Batman Adventures 12. Of course, that is the first appearance ever of Harley Quinn. You know, in comics, we're not talking about previews because those technically don't count, but people still invest in them. We got a newsstand edition, Amazing Spider-Man 300 9.0. Very happy with this, how this one turned out. Hulk 180, first cameo appearance, but first appearance ever of Wolverine. This is going to be a really hot book soon. Don't say I didn't warn you. And then last but not least, eBay seller said this was easily a 9.8. Definitely was not a 9.8, but I'm still happy regardless considering the price because it is triple signed. So those are the 4 books. Very happy. Love to know what you think about it. If you're kind enough to hit the like button, thank you so much for doing so. We are going to pick today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. And obviously you don't have to be a subscriber, but hopefully you will hit subscribe. And if you are picked, you will be able to post a link to your either YouTube channel if you have one, to any of your social networks if you prefer to do that instead, or to a eBay account if you sell anything on eBay. So we're going to go with Chaz Ruby. You are the first of today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. And the second will be going to Andrew Jensen. You are both today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. So let's give our shout-outs a shout-out. So if you guys want to post any of those links to what I mentioned, please do. Just keep in mind it won't show up right away because I do have to verify to make sure they are something that is appropriate. So those are the 4 books. My next 4 should be coming in the next couple of weeks. Those are the ones that you guys helped me vote for. That was the first time. And if you haven't placed your vote for this month's 4, it's good until the last week of this month. So have your voice heard and be a part instead of just a spectator. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This was a pleasant surprise today. I was not expecting these packages. Overall, very happy. Love to know what you thought about these. And don't forget, it is not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next video.